What's up, guys? Welcome to the Behind the Golf Brand podcast. This week, I have my good friend, Matt Fryer. If you guys don't know who Matt Fryer is, you're probably not on YouTube. He's one of the biggest YouTubers in the golf space. He's grown tremendously over the last couple of years. He makes awesome content on golf products and some instruction. And I'm really super excited about him on the show today because I've been a fan for a long time. And it'd be really cool to hear how he kind of got to where he's at and what he's doing on his channel. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, Paul. Looking forward to it.
So Matt is 8 hours ahead of me right now. So like it's 8 o'clock at night there, and it's only noon here. So I feel kind of bad because it's such a late. I might be going to sleep if it was me. But thank you
It's
for
fine.
being
We'll
here.
be up till midnight.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Let's do it. No, I'm just kidding. So where do you live exactly?
So, live in a town called Warrington in England, which is in the north of England. We're slapping between Manchester and Liverpool. So, Manchester's 20 minutes from me, Liverpool's 15 minutes from me, 20 minutes from me. And yeah, just born here, grew up here. The golf club where I film a lot of my content is about 2,000 yards from my front door. So that's nice and handy. And I grew up
Oh wow,
like
super
across
close.
yeah, really close. And then grew up like across the street from where I am as well. So lived in the area for ages, and yeah, it's brilliant. And then my office is another 10 minutes into the centre of Warrington. That's where the studio is and where all the editors and everyone works.
That's so cool. I'm so jealous. I wish I had it. My team's like all around the world, really, and like they're in Europe and Asia. Some people are in Asia, and it's like we have our meetings. But I wish my whole team was here so that like we could just be like when we have our Zoom calls, we goof around, have a great time. It'd be so cool to be in the same like space together and like I don't know, like do stuff together instead of like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's neat. Um, so
Yeah.
so I always ask this question, but it's obvious. So are you a golf pro? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. PGA Golf Pro.
very,
I was,
very much so.
I think we were trying to figure it out the other day. I couldn't even figure it out. I think I've been qualified for 4 years, 5 years now, but been
Oh wow.
since I left school when I was 16. I'm 35 now. Um, I've worked in golf, so literally worked in the American Golf, which is a big retailer over here.
Oh yeah.
Then worked in pro shops, and then like yeah, just done that, and then was coaching full time before I made the jump to go full time YouTube.
When so like how'd you get into golf? Was it like your dad or your mom or your grandfather or how'd you
Yeah,
get into golf?
so my dad's a PGA pro as well, and the club Warrington where I'm a member at and where we film a lot of the stuff. He was the pro there for a couple of years, and then in the centre of Warrington was the first multi-tier range, like what you see at a Top Golf now, or anything with like 2 or 3 tiers to it. The first one that was in England was actually in Warrington. Might have been the first one in Europe actually. I can't remember. So dad used to run the coach in there, ran the shop. So he introduced me when I was 10, but I was really small up until I was 16 and then I had a massive growth spurt. So he joined me down at the golf club when I was 10. I didn't really know anyone. I played a couple of times. I couldn't really hit the ball very far. And because I didn't know anyone, I wasn't very good at that point. I quickly said, like, it's not for me, not interested. And full credit to my dad. He didn't say, "Well, no, you've joined. You've got to go and play. I'm a golf pro. You've got to go and play golf." It was okay, no worries. If you come back to it, fine. It's always there for you. But go and do what you want to do. And then I think it was one summer holidays when I was 15, 16, going into the last year of school. I went to the driving range where my dad was working and running with a group of friends. I think they just took me because they could get free golf balls. And I started hitting someone, and periodically between sort of 10 to 16, I would go to the driving range. It was like a form of babysitting. It was either go to my nana's with my 3 sisters and go there, or I could go to the range and sort of play pool, hit balls, and just watch football on TV all day. So I'd go there now and again. So I'd always maybe like hit the odd ball, but wasn't that interested. But when I went back when I was 16, I just started hitting a few. I was hitting wedges and just literally like hit the first one was rubbish, hit the second one rubbish, and then third one was like, oh, that was all right. And then did it again. That was decent. And literally just like a bucket of 50, I was like, this is really good. And that night, as my dad came home, was like, I want to join the golf club again. He's like, oh, I don't think it's that easy to get in. Like I said, well, you're the pro, you know everyone. Just get me in, will you? And luckily,
Let me on. Come on, you know.
Yeah, so the secretary at the time, a great bloke he was, Nev. He just said it's fine. Well, you just pay your membership. Easy back in, sort of thing. And that was it. Then from 16, I've pretty much been there. You know, not. I've had a golf club in my hand pretty much every day since.
That's crazy. So then, like, did you like? In the United States, they have the PGA schools and all this stuff like that. Is that how you kind of did it too in England, or was something different there for your training, or like how did that all work?
Yeah, so over here, I think it's similar in America, like the USPGA. PGA over here, you do a 3-year university degree. So you work and then study alongside it, and then you do a residential week at the Belfry, which is where the head of the PGA is, and you
Wow.
go in and take like practical classes there. So it was coaching, like shop management or business management, club repairs. So we like used to build the clubs, like reshafting woods and irons, um, sports science as well. So you did all those things, and then at the end of it, you came out. I think it's a diploma. You're getting like sport and golf management.
So then, when did you do that? Like, how long ago was that?
That was about 5 years ago. I think 4 years ago, maybe. So yeah, it will have been 5 years ago. I think it was. So I
Wow.
started it 8 years ago, and then finished it 5 years ago.
So then, what were you doing? So like, you graduated from school, and then you're like, were you teaching at the at the course, or what was that
No,
process like?
so from 16, I went to working in the local American golf, and then worked at the golf club, and then I wanted to be a tour player. So I was playing in all amateur events, got down to +2, was playing sort of like county
Wow.
stuff, national stuff, and then there was like an order of merit thing that I played. Did okay, nothing fantastic, and then turned like playing pro. So from probably about 2021, 22, that's when I sort of turned pro, as it were, as a playing pro. I hadn't done my PGA. I was trying to compete. There's a tour over here called Jamaica Tour, which is like a mini tour. And then Euro Pro, I played a few of those, but they're quite expensive, and it was like hard funding it. And at that time, then I was working in the pro shop as well. Playing wasn't going to plan after sort of 2 or 3 years of trying it. It was, costs were racking up. So I was
Yeah.
falling out of love with playing, and decided, the best thing for me. I'm probably not good enough, not dedicated enough to it. And at that time, I was starting to help a few friends with their games. They were asking me, "Oh, can you like look at my golf swing?" Or when we were out playing, or even a few members, because they knew I was a good player, they'd sort of listen to you anyway. So I started doing a bit of that, and found that from all the lessons I'd had with my dad and my coach, and been around coaching all the time, like through my dad, I took to it quite easily and really enjoyed it, and saw my clients having quite a lot of success, and I got a really good feeling from seeing them progress. And when my golf wasn't going to plan, and I wasn't getting that feeling of like playing a good round or progressing, through a tournament, when they were doing, or texting me saying, "I've had my best round," or that chipping tip that we did and that lesson we had, I just shot my best score. It was like, oh, I got that satisfaction from there. So that's
Yeah,
when,
it's fulfilling to you. Like you were like, oh,
yeah,
like not like the grind, and you're like, I'm never gonna get this. Like this
yeah,
is not
exactly, yeah.
happening.
Yeah, the realization was there that, I wasn't going to be on European Tour or the PGA Tour, but I still got the same satisfaction from seeing my players do it. So that's when, I entered into the PGA and started doing my training and sort of just hung playing up. Then I
Yeah,
think I played Open qualifying once in the last 3 years. Obviously, with
that's
COVID and
cool.
stuff, we've not had it. But prior to that, sort of competitions, I've maybe played three in the last 5 years. I'm just doesn't interest me
It doesn't
really
do it. Yeah, it
anymore.
doesn't do it for you anymore. Like it
No,
just been there, done that. I don't care.
yeah,
Like whatever.
yeah,
Like it's neat, but it's not like the be all end all to what you
yeah,
want to do with your life.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it's funny. I had Taylor Crosby on the show last week, and
Yeah,
he's an instructor here in the United States. He's pretty big, and like
mm,
he was saying almost the exact same story, right? Like he
yeah,
was on like in college, like he was on the team, and like when here in the United States, and I can't remember who was on his team, but it's like they're all PGA players pretty much now. And he
yeah,
said that like the exact same thing happened where like you just kind of get burned out because you get tired of like spending your money and spending all your time, and you still play good golf, but it's not amazing golf. And like you realize that like
yeah,
maybe I'm not at that level, right? Like maybe I'm just not.
yeah,
I mean, I'm close, but it's like that. You miss that putt or whatever it is, and it's like I don't know. I couldn't even imagine the stress of that, but
yeah. I think and there's a lot of guys who, credit to them, they're still out there trying it. But I think it's if you've got the realization and you understand and say, well, you know what, at least I tried it, at least I gave it a go, and
yeah, you
realize
still
that
did it. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't work out. That there are other avenues. You've got coaching, and then obviously what I'm doing now with the social stuff. There's things like that. You could go and be a great manager at a golf resort, or be a good head pro. It doesn't have to be that I want to be on tour. I think a lot of us who are pros have been decent amateur players and then have sort of had that aspiration to play, and it doesn't, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't have to be the end. There's still lots of other stuff that you can still do in the game and get great satisfaction from it.
So you were teaching and you became a pro, and then what year did you start your YouTube channel? Because I love this part. So like what happened? Like what made you decide to do YouTube? What year was it? Like
So I've had my channel now for 8 years.
holy
So that would
crap,
be 2017. Yeah.
15.
But 15, sorry. Yeah. 2015. For the first 3 years, it was just like a play thing, really. I didn't really know why I'd
Was
had
it
it.
rubbish?
Oh, it was,
You were
yeah, it was
looking at
awful.
your old stuff and you're like, what the
Yeah.
hell was I thinking? Oh yeah, I did all
Yeah.
the
Well,
time.
yeah, you got to start somewhere. But,
And you gotta go,
um,
like archive, archive, archive. I don't want that on
yeah,
my channel anymore.
get rid. Yeah. A lot. I don't think I've done like if you go back there, they're all still there. But I was at the club I was at. Myself and Rick Shields were assistants together, so we grew up,
Shut up.
going
I didn't know
through.
that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So we worked together, I think, for 3 years, and he then went on to Trafford Centre to go and coach, and he just started it as he was leaving. So I used to like
Oh, it was like
feature in his
early for
early.
both of you guys. Like you guys were just like doing it. Like no one was
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
Really.
So he did that, and I was like, oh well, I'll do it too. Then, like, I didn't know why I was doing it because I was still trying to play at this point. I was still trying to compete
Oh,
in
really?
events and things. So I used to watch loads of YouTube. I actually sort of remember the first channel that I got into is the thing called SBTV, which is like Smoky Bars TV, which is like grime music over in England.
That's
Um,
cool.
so I used to listen to a lot of music on that, and then would like go down the rabbit hole of YouTube and watch other things on there. So I liked YouTube anyway. I used to watch it. So I was like, oh, well, you can have a channel. That's cool. I've got a channel, but didn't know what it was meant to be or what I wanted to do with it. And then when Rick had left Trafford
2015,
Centre,
right? So
yeah,
so like you're just like what were you posting on there initially? Like lessons?
uh, the odd lesson, a course vlog, a behind the scenes,
whatever, right?
Yeah, just there was no sort of this is what it is and that's what it is for. As where then fast forward 3 years, I go to Trafford Golf Centre, um, and at that point, Rick had been there, Pete Finch had been there, Andy Carter had been there, and I took Andy Carter's job when he went to Dubai. And Rick said to me at this point, and I owe a lot to Rick for sitting me down and helping me with it. Use your YouTube now as a way of just marketing yourself for lessons, because it's a mega busy range. You pay quite a high rent, and you've got to fill your diary to make any money. And there was 8 coaches when I went in, so if you just sat at your desk hoping that lessons would come through the door, you probably wouldn't last very long. But with like what Rick told me to do, then all I did for the next 2 years was every single week, 3 videos a week were all coaching tips.
Holy shit.
So I just it was a way of, this is going to get, like, I didn't look at it in any
It
terms
was your
of
marketing, right? It was your advertising to keep bread on your table for your family.
exactly.
Like
Yeah, I
was,
didn't look at it as a way of making revenue. The way I would make money off YouTube was that if Paul saw my video on fixing his slice, he then booked in a lesson with me and then booked in a course of lessons. So
yeah.
that was my
A
way of
lead generator.
justifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then it got to the point when I left Trafford, that my diary was full. I had people, 7 or 8, 10 emails a day coming in saying, can I
So
get a
how
lesson with
long?
you?
So like, how long did you started seeing? So what year did you? So you started in 17, but when did you start like going full bore, like 3 a week? When was that? What year was that? Do you know?
That was
18.
when I started at Trafford Centre. So
Wow. And
yeah,
then like how long until like when you started publishing? That's a lot, you guys. Like you have no idea. 3 videos a week is a lot of work.
yeah,
Like a lot of work. And teaching, right? So it's like on top of
yeah,
teaching.
yeah, teaching 45 hours probably of lessons at the range from. I used to get in at like 8:30 in the morning, leave at 10 at night. Would do that on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, half day Friday,
Cool.
and then like 9 till 3 on a Saturday. And then I would film all my videos on a Monday morning up at the golf club, go up there, shoot 5 videos every Monday. So I would always be staying ahead. And then I would edit them in between lessons, or when I got home at night at
So
10, I'd
what were
stay
you
up till,
filming with? What camera were you filming with back then? You
oh
remember?
God. I've probably still got them actually. I
A
had
Sony or a Canon?
no Panasonic. I had a Panasonic like Handycam. No, I tell a lie. I had a Nikon to start with. I remember having a Nikon D5
Uh,
200, rings a bell. And then I went to a Handycam because it was like better for flipping the screen. The battery was longer. Then I got the same one so I could have like face on and down the line
two.
angles. Yeah. Um, yeah, and had those for quite a while.
So were you
And even
editing on
like
them
iPhone.
yourself, or did
Yeah, just,
you
yeah,
have an
yeah. I just had
editor?
no up until gosh, 2019 maybe. Yeah,
So long ago.
2019. I got like just probably 6 months before we went into like our first lockdown over here. I got an editor, um, like a freelance editor who's actually Pete Finch's brother-in-law. He'd been doing some stuff for Pete
Oh my
Finch, and
God,
then
small world.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
and
I
then
had no. I didn't know. Like I met Matt through another way, and so I know, and I was already a fan of Matt, but like I didn't know like the connections with all the British golf YouTubers. Like, I knew that they're all pros, right? Majority
yeah,
of them. I'm like, how do they all know each? Like, but like now that's like, oh, they all know each other. They all work together. Like
yeah,
it's like the
yeah. So
OG of you. This is the OG of YouTube golf. This is what this is right here. Because nobody was doing it back then. I mean, 17. It was Rick. Rick was like the first one to break out, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Mark Crossfield and
And
me and my golf were the other standout
yeah,
ones.
yeah, me and my golf. Yeah, Mark Crossfield, and yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
But like, I feel like I mean, me and my golf still at 1 million now, aren't they? They gotta be getting close. And
yeah.
they might
Danny
have broke
Maud's
it.
overtaken them.
What's up with that? How did Danny like where'd Danny Maud come from? I don't even know Danny
Danny's,
Maud. Is he another one?
Danny's,
Is he another one of those
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys?
good friend Danny. Yeah, well,
That's so
Danny's
cool.
from Leeds, which is like an hour and 20 minutes from us. But he lives down south now, so he lives in Canterbury, which is about 4.5 hours from us. But
Dude,
I've
every
been
one of his videos get like 1 million views. Have you noticed
yeah,
that? Like everyone is
he's
he's like the king of instruction, I think. Like
yeah,
seriously, it's
he's very
crazy.
good, simple, very easy to understand, great storyteller as well. Um, yeah, I've got a lot of time for Danny. I've been away with him a couple of times filming, and
Really? Oh
yeah,
my
he's
god.
good. He's a good friend now.
That's
Nice guy.
awesome. I
Yeah,
I just I'm fans of different guys for different reasons, and I don't like have any connection to them. I just like I know why I like them. I think Danny Maud's a phenomenal instructor, and like he's
yeah,
crushing it. Like he's
yeah,
crushing it.
yeah. He's
Like
doing very
every one of his
well.
videos is like, I think he hit 1 million too, didn't he? Or was about to, like
Yeah, I think
recently.
he either has. I think he has done. I'd
I
have
think
to
he just
check on that.
did in the
Yeah,
last six
yeah, I'm
months
pretty
or
sure.
something.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he has. Yeah,
that's awesome. We can. So
yeah.
like, who are you friends with then, or like who do you? Like, yeah, I call them friends. Like, who would you say are friends that you would consider a friend of the YouTubers that are out there from England right now?
So there's me, Carter, Rick, and Pete, who
Yeah.
have like grown up together. So they all went to college together. Then I met Rick, and then
Wow.
I already knew Carter as well through another mate. So there's like us four who are mates, go out together for a
Yeah.
beer and
Well,
stuff like that.
you're boys. Yeah, you're definitely
I was
boys.
like in St Andrews I got back last night and was in the pub with Rick the other night because he's up there filming with Bob Does Sports at the minute. So yeah, had a beer with him the other night. So yeah, they're like good friends. I know, like I say, Danny Maud's a good friend. Golf mates, Liam Harrison is from a
Oh
club
yeah.
where I used to work. No, Liam, he's a good lad. Um, Chris Ryan
That's
as
cool.
well. He's a nice guy. He's from Birmingham, and then the lads from me and my golf, Andy and Piers, have been good to chat to as well as like the channel's grown, and I wanted more advice on what to do on YouTube and things like that. They've always been really generous with the time and helped me out.
That's so cool to
And
hear that. Like to know
yeah,
that there really is a community there. Like I don't think people
oh
understand
yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
the YouTube whatever niche it is. It's like you're not competitors. It's like what do we do? Like there's no
yeah.
directions for what we're doing. There's zero, right? It's
No,
like trial
it's
and
all
error
new.
and how much money do you want to spend to trial and error or ask somebody, "Hey, does that work?" No, don't do that. Okay, I won't do that. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, none
yeah,
of us know. Like
yeah.
only Google knows.
Yeah, I know Zach Radford from over in the States as well. He's a good friend.
Cool.
Love his stuff. He's really good. Um, yeah, that's about who I would generally sort of chat to, as it were.
Yeah, like you can go to these guys and be like, "Hey, what do you think about whatever?" Not like
Yeah,
content, but like direction in your brand, right? Or what you're trying to
yeah,
accomplish, or not like,
yeah,
"Oh, should I do a video on this?" Like they don't have time for that. But like, "Hey,
yeah,
like, should I do a brand deal or not? Or should I do this or that?" Yeah, it's so important. I feel like,
yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's nuts.
yeah,
So you started going full bore at 18, right?
yeah.
Doing 3 videos a week, and then how long would you say before it really started that you could see it picking up?
So like it was going okay then, was doing okay, starting to make money on it, was seeing loads and loads of lessons off the back of it, and was getting some success with like, and again, they're all just teaching videos, so they're not super sexy, but I was getting some good ones. And then obviously lockdowns happened and things like that. And then as we came out of
Yeah.
our second lockdown in, I don't even know when it was now, 2020, in the March time, it ended. It went ballistic. It will have been, because what are we now? 2021.
Were you in lockdown when it went ballistic, or was it right after lockdown?
Right after lockdown. Because in between the original, like the one and two, a lot of people took up golf in England. So we saw
Yeah.
a massive boom in it. And like after the first one, I saw like a big growth or like a big spurt on it. And then after the second one, a lot of people, like again, golf was the first thing that you could do over here. So it seemed like everyone who had ever played any other sport that was banned or at the
They already had a
time.
set of golf clubs already. I'd never played golf though.
They got a set of like they got it off the internet or whatever, and then it was like, right, I need to figure out how to hit these, so I'm just going to look at every YouTube tip that's
Free
out there.
instruction, yeah, and you
Yeah,
had
and it
millions
just
of videos at that point on instruction
yeah
that you just
yeah
did to market
exactly. It was
yourself.
just like yeah, I saw we had one, and it was just like, oh my god, what happened there? Like I think it went to normally at that point we were seeing after a week they would get maybe 15,000, 25,000 if they were a good video, and one just went to like 150,000 over like 3 days, and it was like, what is going on? And then I released another one quickly after it, and that hit 100,000 in the space of like 3 days, and it was like, oh my
That's a
god.
lot of money too. Like that's a
Yeah,
lot. I mean, I don't know what your RPM is, but I mean, like that's pretty good money. 100,000 on a video that fast, like it
yeah,
pays for the video, right? Like it pays for all that time, and you
yeah,
know, it's like I try to explain to like my parents, like YouTube is like compound interest, right? It's like you just have a bunch of it out there, and you don't know, like it could done really bad. I got a video right now that did like mediocre to terrible like the first 3 months, and then all of a sudden it got picked up in the algorithm and it like exploded, and I was like, what the
yeah,
frick, dude? Like, you
yeah,
know, it's completely
yeah,
out of our
yeah.
control.
Yeah, it's crazy. That was one of the things like me and my golf said to me when we were talking about coaching a lot of the time. And I think when I transitioned into going into full time YouTube, I was lucky that I'd seen Rick and Pete and the success they'd had. And then on the flip side of the coin, my dad's a very successful golf coach, but even now he's obsessed with the golf swing, obsessed with coaching, but he's still doing it, and he still stands there for 60 hours a week in his bay. Loves doing it, and that's why he can still do it. But in October, when it's cold over here, or November, it's not ideal at 8 o'clock at night. But your videos on the internet, they're still ticking away and churning away, and that's what the
A
guys at me
penny,
and
a
my golf.
penny, a penny, a penny, a
Yeah,
penny, like times however many pennies, times however many hours, like it just adds up like really
yeah,
fast, like
yeah,
really fast. I mean, I
mm.
don't like it's not easy, right? It's like people think, oh, it's just
Oh
really
no,
easy. It's like
yeah,
it. I'll tell you right now, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Like honestly, like
yeah,
and I've done a lot of stuff in my life, and um, like I feel there's so many layers to it that we don't know if it's going to work or not. Like even if you think it was a good idea to make a video on whatever product, whatever it is, and it could be the best video that's ever been made, but if your thumbnail and your title's garbage, like no one's ever going to see it. Like that's
yeah,
just it. And
yeah,
like there's so many
done.
factors, and I don't know. It's
Yeah,
you can get lucky,
yeah,
I guess, but
yeah, yeah. I think it is. I think like you say, from the outside looking in, think, oh, you just make a video, and you're like, oh, you just go and play golf, and you just hit like that's an easy job, and you think, yeah, there is, it is. We're very lucky to do what we do, because I'm just playing golf, and get to hit different clubs all the time and go to beautiful places, meet great people. But underneath, it takes a lot of planning, a lot of organization, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears have gone to get it to where it is at this point. But like
so
I say,
you must have a really supportive wife. I know I
yeah,
do.
she's not my
Like,
wife yet. She's a fiance,
oh,
but yeah, we
oh
are
yeah,
getting
but
married. Yeah, getting married soon.
you know, that's cool. When you get married,
2025. We just booked it the other day, in May.
is it gonna be in England or is it gonna be somewhere else?
Yeah, it's in the Lake District, like this big national park area up here.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
beautiful.
Um, so you blew up, right? So you're filming your own stuff, and when did you hire the editor? Like in 19, you said is when you first hired your editor. Like, I don't have time to edit, right? Good.
Yeah, yeah,
But that was before COVID, so it was like I'm already getting busy. Like I'm already at my max. I can't spend
yeah,
another 6 hours editing every week. I'll just make the
yeah.
content and spend the whatever it costs to have somebody quickly edit for me. Right? Is
Yeah,
what.
exactly. Yeah, I was seeing that the videos were making revenue, and it was like, well, if you take a third of it to then pay for an editor, then at least that takes some time off my plate. I could maybe then
Do
go and film a
more.
few more
Yeah.
videos, or
Or
do another
spend more
couple of
time
lessons.
doing yeah, or whatever. Like you're. It's not a matter of can Matt do it. It's a matter does Matt have time to do it. Really,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
Or is Matt always going to be at this level right here and be
Yeah.
like, well, no, I do my own stuff, and it's like, well, you're never going to grow because you can't do these other things because you're too busy
Yeah.
editing.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
so who was doing your thumbnails then? When did you get an editor or a graphic guy to do your thumbnails?
I still do them now.
Shut
I've
up. You do
I've
really?
yeah, I've
Oh, good
had
job.
different people in and doing them and things like that. And like I've had a couple off Fiverr, I've had a guy off another website. I've had
Upwork
one
or something.
recently who's good, but with like timings and stuff, it's been hard to sit down and like have the hour conversation about what the thumbnail needs to be. I was always struggling to do that, so I do actually enjoy making them. And I think that's with us with our channel, that's one big focus that we're really pushing hard on at the moment, that we want to improve them. Like you say, I think the videos that we make are pretty decent in terms of
Good.
like if you
Great.
benchmarked them against a Rick, a Pete, we're not quite there, but they're not a million miles away. But when you look at some of our thumbnails and titles, that's where I think we've
You feel like
lacked a little bit.
then you're like, oh yeah, I'm a million miles away from that. That's what I feel
Yeah,
like. I'm like, but it takes so much time to even know that you're a million miles from that. Like you don't know, right? So you're like, you're trying to get that video out, let's say, and you're like, well, I'm gonna make my
yeah,
graphic, whatever. And then like, but to spend that time to figure out what's working over there, why is that working? Right. And then to
yeah.
make your own concept of that, test it, and and then do that over and over. It's so much time. It takes so much
Yeah,
time. Like it's
yeah.
crazy.
I think one of our next hires that we have that'll be part of their job role, will be thumbnails that they work on solely, so it free they can spend that time looking at other people
I'll
and like
after the show, I'll show you what I do. I'll show what we do as a team to make
yeah.
it easier. And we came up with this process like 2 months ago, and
Oh,
it
brilliant.
helps a lot because I was like jumping around because you don't know, right? Like not only conceptually what video are you going to shoot, but then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this video because it did really well for somebody else, so it's probably can do well for me. But then it's
Mm,
like, what are the competition in terms of thumbnails? What's ranking? Like I don't know.
mm,
Like we do all that work ahead of time now, so that we kind
yeah.
of look at it as a team and be like, what are we gonna do? Right? Like
Yeah.
not like I don't know. Before we were doing that, I was just like, go make a thumbnail. And then I'd be like, I don't
Yeah.
like that. And
Oh,
it just too
I
much time.
yeah, I used to make them an hour before we put them out. Like, oh, I just need to put something on it. I remember when I used to make them, like when we were starting out, I used to think that the title, whatever you'd put in the title, had to be on the thumbnail as well. It's like you couldn't
Oh
have like the
gosh, I
what,
did too.
like how you got like one word on it now. It's like catching and things like that. If it was like how to hit your 3 wood straight, my thumbnail would have said that.
All across it.
Yeah, and you're like, oh God, you look back now and you think, God, but that's part of the learning curve. And you're like,
What did
I
what
do.
did I do?
Yeah,
I had all
yeah,
my when I started, I had all my thumbnails look alike, like a PowerPoint presentation. Like every
yeah.
thumbnail had the same like blue with a picture and words.
Oh,
And like I
we
didn't
at one
know.
point, yeah, we were going to do that. Just have like my face, and it would just say Matt Fry Golf
Like,
on it, and you're like,
like why is nobody watching this? And like they don't
yeah,
know what's in there.
yeah.
And they're not gonna
It's
spend the
an
time
amazing.
figuring it
It
out.
is, yeah, it's an amazing. Like it is an amazing platform, and then you start obviously as you get it into it more, and it becomes your business, and then you start to look at like why people click things, the way the
Copyright,
human brains, yeah, the way,
copywriting and
yeah,
eyes and
it's amazing, like the
thumb. Yeah, so
mentality, the
much.
psychology of it all, and you're like, oh, I'm just making a golf video, but there's like so much more to it. And it's like I really do love actually in a minute, like reading all these things about it and trying to
Like I geek
understand
out
it
on
and
that.
figure it out.
I
Yeah,
totally geek out, and I get like I was DMing back and forth with Ed last night, and I said, "Oh, my CTR is not great on something," and he's like, "Well, what's your whatever? What's your impressions?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's whatever." He's like, "Dude, that's really good for impressions." I'm like, "Yeah, but my CTR is like lower than it normally is." He's like, "Yeah, because you're going to a wider audience than what you normally do because you're getting pushed to a bigger audience than what you normally would
yeah,
be like here." And I was like, mind blown, right? I was like, oh
yeah,
yeah, that makes sense, you know. So it's like
yeah,
it's not always about CTR. It's like
yeah,
how many people are having a chance to actually see it, you know.
yeah,
And like I don't know, it just you can definitely get into down the rabbit hole, like you're saying, on like, what am I doing wrong? And is that the right
Yeah.
color? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think
so
there has to be a balance. I think, if you look at, I think that's where, when we transitioned out of when I stopped coaching, I was doing YouTube to push my coaching, as where I don't coach as much now. I still, for me, like our sort of mission statement of Matt Fryer Golf is that we want to help every golfer or new golfers improve and enjoy golf in any way, shape, or form. Whether it's buying a new club and they want some advice on it, whether it's learning how to stop topping your 3-wood, or they just want to see a pretty golf course and watch some golf. That's what we want to do. And I think, if you could get totally into the analytics and trying to make everything fit, and you might lose sight of that a little bit. So I think if you blend both things, you'll have a good connection with your audience. And like us, like I say, we're just striving to get more people playing, get the people who are playing enjoying it more, so they play for longer, and not just solely like doing everything to make sure every video is an absolute banger. If it's a 3-wood tip that I found helped with one of my mates who I was playing with at the weekend, I'll share it, because it might help. Could help you. It could help another person. Even if it gets mediocre views, it doesn't matter. It might have helped another golfer.
yeah, I mean, I it's cool because like your content is like, you're not pigeonholed. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, Matt Fryer is just instruction, right? Or Matt Fryer is
Yeah,
just product. It's like
yeah,
you have, which was smart because like, and Rick's doing it now too, and Peter Finch's as well. Like, it's all a bunch of different types of content within the same thing.
yeah.
But like, I think like YouTube wants to keep you in your lane, right? Like,
Mm,
you're the instruction guy, and that's the kind of people we're going to send over there because we know they'll stay on platform. But like,
yeah,
you're doing this, so it's like you're able to get all of it. You know what I mean? Instead
yeah,
of being like, oh, I'm just purely instruction at this point, or I'm
yeah,
just purely golf product review or
yeah.
whatever it might be. I think that's really cool. They're like, and that's a hard thing too, isn't it? I mean, when did you start doing like a bunch of different stuff?
So I sort of we came back to coaching after that last lockdown, and my diary was just jam packed. So I ended up dropping a load of hours just to then start making more content, because I'd seen it kick on um, quite well. So I was like, well, actually, I know what Rick does, I know what Pete does. I've seen the success of them. I want to give this a go. I want to, spend a bit more
Yeah,
time
what's the
going
worst
to
case
some.
scenario, right? You go back
Yeah,
to
I can
teaching.
always go back teaching. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started when I stopped coaching fully in 2 years ago. Um, I then had made the decision that the channel was going to have some playing stuff, because as well at that point, through teaching non-stop, putting 3 videos out a week, I'd fallen out of love of playing a bit, because I was playing bad golf and not playing any golf. So I was like, I'll just make a video on coaching and get out of here. I'm not going to play. I've not got time. As well, I was like, well, now I'm going to go and do full time YouTube. We could do a playing series. I want to get back to actually playing. Let's see what that looks like, and I might find some stuff along the way that this worked for me to get better and get back to what I used to play like. It could help you, and then the entertainment of the challenges. I really enjoy that. I love nothing more than like playing with Pete or Rick or Carter or whoever it is, and just talking
Fun
trash when we're
with
playing.
your buddies. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
intimidated by playing with these guys because
No, yeah,
it's
if you
like
play
these
bad, it
guys
don't matter.
forever, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, whatever, dude. I'm gonna
yeah,
talk
and
so much
it's
crap.
just what a lot of golfers do around the world as
That's
well.
all we do,
When you're playing,
anyways.
yeah,
Yeah,
you just talk trash with your mates,
the
give each
whole
other reviews.
time. Yeah, the
Yeah,
whole
and that's
time.
it's just the best thing ever. So yeah, I love doing that on the channel, and that's when we sort of said, right, well, what are we, and what do we want to do, and that's
Yeah,
where
who are you, right? Like,
yeah,
what's my identity in this whole thing?
yeah,
Who am I,
yeah.
right?
I am a
Like,
golf pro. I want to give you advice on all the, like I say, I was 16 when I started working in the golf shop. Um, so 15 years of knowledge, like spending time with golf products, with manufacturers, with other
Plus,
pros.
you're a pro. Your dad's a
Yeah,
pro, so like you
yeah.
know the
So
game inside and out. Like
yeah,
yeah. Like it's a huge advantage over anybody, right? Who's not a pro, I think. And
yeah, yeah. If
like
it might,
you
like
already
say,
have the authority, I guess, is a good way of saying it to the audience. Like, oh yeah, this guy's
yeah,
just a
yeah.
pro.
I've sort of honed my craft, as it were, and I want to share whatever things I know. If it can help someone, great. Let's get it out there. Let's hopefully help someone make a better choice when they buy a club, instead of just buying one for, oh, I think it might work. Do you really need to go and
That's the golf industry,
waste that?
yo. That's why I started my website. I was like, dude, no, all this stuff doesn't work. Give me a break.
Yeah,
We don't have time. That's the problem with golfers. I feel like we don't like most golfers don't have time to figure out whether or not that thing works or not. They just
yeah.
think it
Buy
works
it.
for whatever
Yeah,
reason, right?
yeah. Buy it, try it out. Didn't work. There's another $500 gone. Let's go and change it.
Yeah.
So it's so expensive stuff, like all the golf things now. So you may as well know what you're getting and what works for you. But
So
yeah, that's
then,
fun.
when did you get a photographer to film you or a videographer?
Um, so my first proper videographer was 2020, I would say. Yeah, because Joe's worked for me for a year, 22. Ethan. Yeah, it would have been 2020, 21. I got like a full
Not you
time.
film. You stopped filming yourself, pretty much. You're like, oh, somebody's
Yeah,
filming.
because we started doing like course vlogs and things like that, and I couldn't do it like on my own when I was doing stuff
No, because you're
like
not
on
playing
my own.
golf. It's
Yeah, so
impossible. I've tried that.
yeah,
It's like almost impossible. Like try to do like when you do a product review on the golf course. Good luck playing golf that day. You're
yeah,
like look at your iPad to make sure you talk about all the whatever things and you do all the things
yeah,
on camera. Yeah, I
yeah,
know it sucks.
yeah. It's
Like
yeah. So 21, I had like a freelance again, um, videographer who came to work for me. Um, he was doing some other stuff like other marketing things and things like that.
yeah,
Um,
real estate
so
or weddings or
yes, I think
something.
yeah. I think he did like 15, 20 hours a week for me, stuff like that. And then he started doing some. He then transitioned to doing both. So he was videographer and editor. And then he stopped working for me last year, and then I made like my first full time hire. So we got Joe in, who's like the first full time video editor and videographer, who's done all the stuff since August last year, and then
Which
we've
saves you a
now,
lot of time.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, because we're still putting 3 videos out a week as well. Um,
Well, can I ask you a question?
yeah,
Why 3 videos a week? What makes you think? Like I was wondering.
I've just done it always, and it's like, right, that's what I can do. But
Yeah,
we
that's your
are,
yeah.
I think, with what we're doing, I think we are now probably going to go down to 2, just
Why?
because for planning and like um,
Quality over
for
quantity?
yeah, exactly, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
used
No, I
to
agree. Like, I
sort of do the
totally
3
agree.
tips, and tips are easy to film. They're quick. They don't take a lot of research, because it's what I've done for the past 8 years. So
Yeah,
I know
you have a
the
million in your
lessons.
head, like, you don't have to think
Yeah,
about it. I mean, you can do a
yeah,
little research
exactly.
to see, like, how can I craft this tip into a good YouTube video that might
Yeah,
perform, but,
yeah.
like, you already know the tip. It's not like you're
Yeah,
researching
exactly.
it.
Yeah, so it's just like giving a lesson. So they don't take much time for us. So they're like, we just put them in because we want to keep. I still want to keep coaching people, still having that connection to people getting better. And there's nothing better when you see the comments of, oh, this really helped. I just shot my best
Oh, it's
round.
the best in the
Oh,
world.
thanks.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah.
pro, but,
So
like, I've had pros, like, I've done videos with other real, like, pros, and they're like, "Oh, I tried that. That's the best." Or, "I used to watch him a long time ago, and I love that guy," or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I just, like, always, like, forward it to, like, the pro, like, another
yeah,
YouTube guy, and I'm like, "Hey, check this out. Like, this person loves you." Like,
yeah,
yeah, like, it's just cool to see that. I mean, I'm not a pro, so I think
yeah.
it's cool to, like I don't know. I think what I like about you and your channel is like you try and you do a really good job of giving value to the audience and
Mm,
not like and that's huge because I think like whether it's product or instruction, it's like you're just giving free value. right? And like a lot of guys don't do that. It's more about like what's in it for the person, like the YouTuber, I guess, in a way. But I think that's one thing I really love your channel. Dude, I got people blowing up our freaking chat. All right, so Blake Anderson wants to know how many, if any, hole-in-ones have you hit?
3. One of them's on YouTube as well. Slam dunked one at
Really?
Lacala. Yeah, slam dunked at Lacala. It was really weird. Like just quickly how that how we filmed that. I'd bought like an extra camera, but we were using. I'd got a gimbal with like a DSLR on it, and then I had another DSLR with like a long range lens. And it was the first time that we set this up, and I said, "Oh, let's put this on this like next tee down and just zoom it on the hole
on the green, yeah, to see if it actually hits."
Yeah, so like it's another angle because on the camera that we only had like an 18 to 50 lens, so you're not going to get like down anywhere near. You'll get 40 yards of zoom sort of thing. First time, bang, set it up, slam dunk. There we go.
What did your thumbnail say? Do you remember what your thumbnail says?
It's like hole in one or something like that. Hole in one question mark, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I could have that would have crapped my pants. I didn't even get that on film. That's impossible.
Yeah.
So when was that? When did you make that video?
22. Is it? No, 21.
Oh, last
21,
year?
That was,
okay.
It was year before last year. Yeah.
All right, we got another question.
Oh no! In fact, it might have been 22. It will have been early 22, I think.
All right, so here we go. Todd has a question. What do you feel is the most helpful tip for someone starting out?
Get your basics right. I think a lot of people like underestimate the value of just having good basics. And even when you go to a range at a tour event, they're not working on loads of crazy stuff. So a lot of it is alignment, a lot of it is posture, a lot of it is grip. And if you can just start with just some small shots, if you sort of worked backwards up to the driver, if you went from putting to driver and you're just learning to get a bit of constant contact and getting some consistent contact, if you have those good fundamentals, you'll go a long way quick. Because the amount of like people I used to coach who had poor fundamentals and they just thought, well, I'll hold it a bit this way, that then impacts the face, and then you've got to try and do something to counteract that, or you stood aim in the wrong direction, so now you've got to try and swing it a different way. As where you walk up and down the tour range, everyone holds it pretty well, everyone stands to it well, and everyone has the ball in the right spot. But I think we're quick sometimes to go, oh no, I need to do this magic fix to get my golf swing right. As where just make sure those basics are right, and you'll do everything a lot better and a lot easier.
Faster too, right? Because you're not learning little shortcuts that you're not going to remember.
You don't have to correct mistakes along the way then.
So what in your mind with the YouTube channel, like what were the biggest jumps then? Like prior to COVID, like what were you at? Like sub-wise? You remember? You probably know. Everything knows this.
Prior to COVID, I think it was on about 35,000. After the end of second lockdown, we were on like 50,000. And then at the end of that year, I hit 100,000 at the end of 20.
Which is a huge deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was that's
that's the first milestone on YouTube, right? Yeah. Like that's literally the first big milestone. Well, actually, I guess getting monetized is the first milestone. And then I think like 10,000, 25, 50, and then 100.
10 was big. Yeah. 100, like getting you like just because I'd seen like Pete and Rick's plaques, and I was like I've got to get myself one of them. I've got that. I need to
get the gold one now.
Yeah, like that obviously like we want to work towards that and want to get to it. You almost feel like there should be a 500,000 one or something for like a intermediate stage that you would work in between, because like 100 to 1 million is like a big jump.
It can be done. Dude. It's like that's a lot.
Yeah, I think you see like a little bit of sort of false numbers now. I think like with the way shorts work, you look at some creators who
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute. So, what is your opinion on shorts and getting a lot of like followers very quickly from shorts? Because that's what happened last year. A lot of people like blew up because of shorts. Like, what do you think about that? It's not like that anymore. That's what I think. I think it's changed, but
Yeah, I think it's changing a little bit. It is interesting. You look at it and you go like, oh, and I think that's where like um, it is a superficial number, sort of your subscriber count. It's more, about your views, but also I think one of the other things, and you alluded to it a little bit earlier, is providing value and connection to your fans. I think for a lot of what we do, I think and even when like we're in St Andrews last week, a lot of people come up to us. My God, like I can't believe it's you. Can I shake my hand? Thank you so much for this tip,
they're
and
a
that's
fan.
brilliant. And
They're a real fan, and
yeah,
they
they feel a real
appreciate you.
fan. Yeah, as well. I think with like a lot of shorts viewers, or like people who have like shot up with subs from shorts, you look at some of the longer form content, and it's just the views are
Bro, I'm like
nowhere
you're like reading
near.
my mind right now, like verbatim.
Yeah,
Like that's exactly what it
yeah.
is, right? Like,
Yeah, so I think the gut, if you wanted to chase that, yeah, but for us, like I say, we've
no, you're
we've
not gonna
got
build
what?
I don't feel you're gonna build a community. Like, how do you build a
No, no,
community on
yeah,
shorts when you have them for
yeah,
5 seconds and then they
yeah, and I
like
don't think a lot of them will go over to watch you. Like you can
they
see it
won't.
again from some channels that do have
Yeah, I'm not.
mass.
Yeah, I can talk about after the show about those channels. I've seen
Yeah,
them though. You can see them like,
yeah, and you go,
yeah.
okay, right, fair enough. So, I mean, some have worked and some have done, and we've played around with it a bit, and I think it is worth doing them. But for us, I want to,
And we do them
you know,
too, but it's not
yeah,
like I don't know.
it's
I
like
think like
throwaway content.
it's
I
long
feel,
form. It's long. Like
yeah,
you still do them. It's just like advertisement, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna short on the video or something maybe. But it's
yeah,
like if you want to look at the strength of a channel, look at the long form and look at the views. Like that's it.
yeah,
And then look at the
yeah,
comments. Like that
yeah,
that's the real identifier. Subscribers,
yeah,
yeah, it's amazing. But I
yeah,
mean, that's what I think. And I think,
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
yeah. I think if like we look at it as like now as well, like if we wanted to sell out a golf school, if we um had 100,000 shorts viewers versus 100,000 who have been watching the tips, the course vlogs. I think I'd probably get 10 people who came to the golf school from the shorts, as where
maybe,
we'd probably
yeah.
get 1,000 from the golf school from the long form stuff, and they would feel more connected to me. They would be
They
more,
know you. They know you.
yeah, they would know you. They'd be
Yeah.
sort of more ready to listen to what you're saying. They would take the advice on board a little bit more. They'd be more trusting, and they'd sort of come back and be sort of your go-to. I would become their go-to golf instructor. Whether it's for a lesson, a bit of club advice, or they actually, oh, I'm playing Royal Troon next week. Oh, Matt did a video there. Let's watch that. And I think that's
Or
where
you're playing
the
with
long,
Rick, or you're playing with Pete, or you're playing with
yeah,
somebody like, oh, it's entertainment. Like, oh, cool. It's like, your
yeah,
two favorite YouTubers are playing against each other, or
yeah.
something like that.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna ask you. So, oh crap, I was gonna ask you something about that. You're going crap. So then right now, are you just only focusing on long form and it's a little bit of short form then, I would assume?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the three we've got. The two staples of course vlogs are the In the Red series, where we go to different venues and me trying to break par. That's just for the fact that I still want to
Fun.
try and have something to compete for. Like, even though it's just personally for myself, I'm trying to break that. But there's a good story along the way. We've done it for 5 years now. Maybe I started it 4 years ago with like a break 28 at my home course because I shot 28 on the back nine, which was 8 under, and I was trying to see if I could do it, again. And then that's evolved into like 18 holes, different places. We also have the 30-shot challenge, that seems to be like one that everybody loves. We've got a really good one as well coming next week with Graham McDowell, major champion, Ryder Cup stalwart. So we filmed one with him, which was really good, and we've got some other ones lined up, which is the two long form things, and then we have the tips they'll always stay now. Like I say, I want to always give the advice and help people get better. And then the tech stuff, you know, trying to educate people on the clubs that are coming out, or even, you know, Amazon stuff and things like that. You know, should you be buying it, and hopefully save people a few quid if the product's rubbish and stay away from it, or, you know, if you should be buying it.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple questions. So, um, are you like, do you have sponsors right now? Like certain brands sponsor you, or do you just buy your own stuff, or what's the deal?
Yeah, so we've got channel partners. So currently, we like with us doing tech videos, we'll never sign a club contract. A lot of people will think that I'm, you know, club contracted to Mizuno because they're my clothing sponsor.
What does that
It
mean? To
does
close them? Oh, close, you mean?
clothes. Yeah, they
Oh,
are. I only have Mizuno clothes. They are good enough to, like, if I want any, you know, irons, wedges, woods, they will give me them. But in my contract, it's not contracted that I have to have any club in my bag. You know,
just the
I've
clothes.
had, yeah, just clothes. So I wear the apparel, the footwear, and headwear from those guys. It's good stuff. Got a great relationship with them. The team are really good over there,
That's cool.
and enjoy working with them. Then we've got ShotScope, so the watches and the lasers. They're like the GPS partner. They also are like the title sponsor for the In the Red series. So
Oh, really?
we started working with them a year ago, and that's
I'm
one
friends with
thing.
Gavin. Are you friends with Gavin?
Oh yeah, Gav's
I
great.
love Gavin. Gavin's
Yeah, top
awesome.
bloke.
Gavin
It's
and Jen and all them. I've
Yeah,
been working with
Jen's
them for like
brilliant. Yeah, and
they're
Lindsay.
and
Yeah,
they're really good golfers too. They're like super good,
yeah,
right?
and it's like that. That's one thing that I've really enjoyed, because for 12 years only ever used a laser. Like a GPS, I was not interested in. I would like, why are you wearing a watch? No, don't need that. It's not accurate. As where now I've had the watch on my wrist. I love it. It's so easy to go to. And then the day,
X5 is that what
yeah,
you're using X5? Yeah.
yeah, and the G5. But like with that X5 with the tags in, the data is so good and so easy to use. And like a lot of my friends have bought them off the back of me sort of recommending it to them and seeing me use it. And for like ease of use for, you know, your everyday golfer, it just highlights what you need to get better at without
What I like
you.
about ShotScope is it's affordable. There's two things I really like about
Yeah,
ShotScope. I mean, outside the tech is great and everything like that. Like
yeah,
what sets them apart in my mind is like it's affordable
yeah,
and they own their own data. Like that's the
yeah,
biggest thing. And like,
yeah, yeah,
like they're not buying not the data about your golf game, but the data on the golf course. Like that's their data,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
like that's huge because a lot what I learned from Gavin, like on the podcast, and we've been friends for 5 years probably at this point, like is
yeah,
that everyone else buys their data from like some central repository of data, right? So every
yeah,
golf course. And so like I
yeah,
just
yeah.
think, yeah, I think what's the biggest competitors to them is Garmin and uh,
Bushnell probably.
yeah, Bushnell. I've
Yeah,
worked with them too.
yeah.
Um, who else? So you got them.
So I got Mizuno, ShotScope. Then we work with Fujikura as well. So shaft company Fujikura. I've got all
Yeah,
the shafts in my irons, in my wedges, in my woods. Work with them. They've done some great stuff. With
like the
I've got the
Ventus
graphic.
TL and
Yeah, but it's TR, the
yeah,
TR one. I've got all that. Yeah, and then got the Axiom graphite irons, which has been quite interesting. The change on that. We're actually shooting a video next week about how I found it for the first 6 months.
Oh, you got
So
those iron shafts or the new ones?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
what's it called? Oh,
Axiom.
crap. Axiom. I went to that thing
Yeah,
at the PGA show. I shot a bunch of footage, but I haven't made the video yet. Like I went
yeah.
to their special event that wasn't at the PGA show,
Oh
and
yeah,
like
at the Ritz on the
at the Ritz.
driving range.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was there pretty
Um,
much all the time, so I probably would have seen
you
you.
were there?
Yeah, in and
Were
out.
you
Like we were
really?
there.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
oh man, see, we didn't know each other. Now we're buddies. So now I've been like, what's up, man? Um, so who
yeah.
else? So yeah,
And then
Fujikura makes quite honestly, Fujikura makes one of the best golf shafts of all time, and that's the Ventus. Like all day long.
yeah,
I put
yeah,
that on my ping driver, my old ping driver, and that thing gave me an extra like 15 yards, like just by having a
yeah,
new shaft. I was like, holy
yeah.
crap. So Fujikura legit.
And then fourth and final, we've got the Dukes, which is a golf course in St Andrews. So the Old Course Hotel, the most famous golf hotel, as it were, that sits by the 17th of the Old Course, and you hit over it. So I partner with those, like the Old Course Hotel and the Dukes golf resort. So the Old Course own the Dukes, and we film a lot of our stuff up there now. And that's where we were all this week filming. Done some good videos. That's where me and Pete did the shot scope record breakers video, our final one there, which was a brilliant video, if I do say so myself.
Cool. Because like you're excited by it, and you're like, oh, this is a good video. I know it's going to do really well. I'm excited about it. You know it's crap too. You're like, oh, I don't like this video.
Had a few of them.
Yeah, me too. Let's ask you something else. So then, like, when did you start getting like channel sponsors or whatever? What number, I guess, in terms of subscribers? You're like, oh, who's this guy? Wasn't right away, right?
No, oh God, no. So like the Mizuno one was probably when I was at about 70,000. I had some other.
Did they come to you? Do people like come to you and start hitting you up? They hit you up through Instagram or YouTube or your website?
It depends. Like there's agencies that manage a lot of the companies and things like that, and
the PR
like,
people,
have you thought about this? Or we've got,
you know what I call them? I call them the handlers. They're the handlers.
Yeah.
No, but they're cool. They're all cool people. Like it's like they, like they work with everybody. They're all my buddies.
It's different in America. You have like managers and agents over there as well. We just have like agents sort of thing, or managers. Like there's no real.
That's a big one in London.
It's probably agencies that do it more over here. But yeah, we had some like people would approach you, even till sort of this year. Get like a lot of the clubs we're not sponsored by the club manufacturers. They do send us them to test them, but even up until this year, we still weren't getting everything. And it was like, we are doing, we're interested in it, and we've had talks with them, and I think like then they've gone, oh right, okay, yeah, like we didn't realize you're doing club stuff. So I think this sort of now we've pretty much hooked up with everyone who we needed to make sure that we are getting stuff before it comes out to make the content.
Well, that's the key,
when it comes
right?
Out.
Like that's what I like. You can work with a third-party retailer, which helps sometimes, or if you have relationships at the brand itself and you're part of that list. You just tell them like, look, dude, if you send that to me in September and it came out in February, it's a waste of time, and no one's gonna watch that video because it's already been out for 6 months. Like, it's the key. YouTube is having that product at the moment of announcement or prior to launch. Like, who was that? What's that guy's name? He's English too. Who's the guy that's always in the simulator? The British guy. He's always in the sim. Like the background's like a sim. He's always in a sim. I can't think of his name. I think it's like 80,000. Oh crap! I can't think of his name. Like he got like the P.G.A 430 like in November of last year. Like I was like, how in the hell did you get that? Like it like I was like, no, he was the only person on YouTube that had the product. I was like, what the frick? I don't know.
I don't know who that is. Unless it's is it the average golfer?
No, the average golfer. He's like our age. Like he's always in this. He's in a big sim room all the time. Like he never goes to the golf course.
Oh, that's Alex Etches. The reason he would have got that, because he was in Australia.
Oh, that's why.
So their embargoes are different to England's and America's. So they were
I never knew that.
Yeah, he had that. So he had that, and that's what's crazy. He had G430. You were right. They've launched it in Australia
in November. It was like in November, and we were like, "What the f?" They didn't even announce it yet. I was like, "How the hell?" Like, like it blew my mind when I saw that.
Yeah, I think he's just moved back to England now, Alex.
Oh, I thought he was in England the whole time. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So then when you get your clubs, how do you get the clubs then? Through a third-party retailer or from like Titleist or TaylorMade or
Yeah,
whoever? You just
just
go
just
buy it.
straight. Yeah, straight from the manufacturer. They'll we're on like the PR list or whatever it is now, where they'll send it
Perfect.
before embargo, and like Rick is, like Pete is, like Average Golf, Mark Crossfield, whoever they are, everyone who's doing the club reviews, you get put onto those lists, and then beforehand you'll get the product so you can see it, spend some time with it, usually about a month before it comes out. So then you can, use it, produce your content, and then have it good to go on embargo day.
That's awesome. It's all about but as a YouTuber, is it better to get paid to make a video, or is it better to get a product before it comes out? I mean, best to get both, right? But like, if you couldn't have both, what would be better?
I've never, but obviously, like my partnerships, we don't get paid really to make any videos. There's been the odd sort of thing for,
Oh, like
you know,
they're
like
sponsoring a video. They're not,
yeah, like
not a video.
like tourism boards. I've never had like a Callaway paid video. I've not had Callaway, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Titleist. None of those are paid.
None of the big
All
ones.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, they're all just like every product. If it's ever a product review, it won't be paid because it just straight away
It muddies
you're
the
not.
water.
Well, you're not impartial, are you? Because you've already taken money.
Exactly
So
right.
if you're, the sort of, you should say something good because we've given you whatever money, as
Yeah.
where the revenue you'll make off a video anyway, sorts itself out. So all you need is the product, and then you can be, open about it, find out what is good, what is bad, and pretty much every day, all of them now. If you make a bad golf club, you're going out of business
Not gonna
pretty
release it,
quickly.
and yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's gonna
it
say
doesn't happen.
something like, "This thing's a
Yeah,
piece of shit." Everyone's gonna say that right away. No
yeah,
one's gonna be like, "Oh,
yeah,
this is the best thing ever," and there's like
yeah,
10 other YouTubers saying this is crap. Like, no one's gonna do
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and they're
So
not gonna release it, like, that's
exactly.
the other thing too.
Everyone's making good products. It's just whether it's any better than the last iteration. If they come out with the wild claims, this one's going to go 17 yards longer. This one's going to, be the fastest ever, and you go, well, it's the same ball speed, it's the same, distance. It's those things that are, yes, it's still a good product and it will work if you go and get fit for it. But it's not, the the magic the magic pill that a lot of people may think that it is.
I feel like you just have to be honest, as if like you were walking into a store and you wanna know whether or not is this thing good or bad, and will it help me? Like, just
Yeah,
be honest about
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah,
that's when I started the website, that's what used to piss me off is, like, I had the money to go buy these things. I just,
yeah,
like, would walk into a store and I'd be like, "What's a new driver to buy?" And they'd say, "Oh, it's the, whatever, F9 or from Cobra or whatever." And I'd be like, "Okay,
yeah.
cool." And then it would be crap. I'm not saying it was a crap product. I'm saying, like, it would not have been the
Good
right
product,
product for me, and
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
"Okay," like, maybe there's, like, I need to figure this out for myself and just tell the audience or tell my on my blog
yeah,
back in the day,
yeah. You
like,
just
what I thought.
find out what the features and benefits are of it, basically. It's a bit like a
Exactly.
car, isn't it? You say it's got this, it's got that. This could work for you if you're looking for this type of thing. This won't work for you if you are this type of player, probably. But as we always say, go and get fit for it because everyone swings it differently and everyone hits it differently.
Exactly.
So, not every club is made for you because there's no standard. No one is
So,
standard.
what do you have like, for the rest of the year, what do you have going on? So, like, let the audience know, like, what you got going on so people can be ready for it and excited for it.
Yeah. So we've got more in the Reds coming. We've just, like say, been up in Scotland, filmed one at St Andrews, not at the old course, the other one of the other courses there. That's the hardest one. That was really good. Really enjoyed that, even though it beat me up. We've got some more 30-shot challenges. We're just talking through with some other pros at the minute, just getting dates and things finalised for that. And
Can
then,
you explain 30-shot challenges for
yeah, so
in
you
case
get
people don't
30
know?
shots to get around 9 holes of a golf course. The idea was that, it was a way of me playing the other YouTubers that are around, you know, Rick, Pete, Carter, James Robinson, who, you know, other people that we've had on there. But like, as I thought of the series, it was like, well, this will tear up to hopefully as it grows in reputation. Hopefully, you know, with brand connections and things like that, we'll start getting some good pros. And like the end goal is that we get a top 10 player in the world breaking 30 shots for 9 holes.
That'd be cool.
So we've
I'd
had,
watch that.
so like, so we had Graham McDowell the other day, you know, won the US Open, and he's on the channel doing the 30 shot challenge, and he absolutely loved it. He was like, just going to go and play this as my practice game all the time now. So we're
It's
talking with
smart.
some,
Whose idea
yeah,
was for the 30? Was that your idea for the 30 shot challenge? That's smart, dude.
yeah,
So smart.
yeah.
Like
Because
that should
it
be
goes,
your
yeah, it
thing.
goes against everything. Goes against everything, like taking one shot at a time, not counting your score. You get X amount of shots till you finish. It's like you've got 30. You know you've got 30, and as soon as you start hitting, those shots are gone. So it's I really like it. It's great fun
That's
to
smart.
film. So like I think we've had like 10 of them now already, and they've done really well. So yeah, it's a bit like one of the big staples that we will have. We are over to the States as well in October, going over to Carlsbad for 10 days. So
Or
hoping to
what?
meet up with P.G.A for a couple of days, and then doing our own stuff for 4 or 5 days. So getting 30 shots with people and doing some in the red stuff whilst we're there. So yeah, and then just the same old really. We've got other things in the pipeline that we can't let out yet, but it's going to be, I think, an exciting back end to the year. I can't believe it's, you know, nearly September already. It feels like,
You're about like so fast.
I know it's insane. So yeah, real big push to the end of the year now. We'd like to try and get to 250,000 on the channel, but as long
Where
as
you
we
at right
keep
now?
making
You're
good,
at 2.
215.
Yeah. Every YouTuber knows exactly how many numbers they have because they look at that
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. So as soon as you open the app, bang in your face.
Right in your face.
Um,
You're like, and
yeah,
or you get vidIQ and it shows you your stuff from the day, and you're like,
yeah,
what? That sucks, you know? And you're like,
yeah,
that really went up.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
well,
that's it really.
so where can people find you?
Matt Fryer Golf on everything. If you go on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, type Matt Fryer Golf in, and you will find a bald ginger man giving you some golf advice.
Who knows what he's talking about? Who's cool? So,
Yeah,
I've
supposedly.
been a big fan for a long time, and I really
Mhm.
appreciate you like coming on the show, talking to you. I didn't like I know Matt from his channel, but I didn't know Matt personally, so it was really cool to meet you.
You too.
I'm really impressed, and I had a fun time. So thank you. You
Thank
guys
you.
gotta check out Matt Fryer. He's legit, and he's super cool, as you guys can see. So I will see you guys in the next video.